Hi, my name is Emma Reagan. I am the broadcast lead, and I'm going to share a little bit with you about my team. I will admit this is my second take. I'm redoing it because my first take was 15 minutes. Uh, so I'm going to do my best to cut that down a little bit. I might try to, I might have tried to get away with 15 minutes if I was able to come in person, which I'm fortunately not able to. But I'll try to keep it a little bit shorter. But I will start by saying I obviously could talk about what I do a lot, and I feel very passionate about what I do. So if you ever see me around, if you ever have any questions, or you ever just want to say hi, please feel free to come up and chat with me. I'd love to. Um, I know a lot of the leads. I also know there's some new members of the team, so I'd love to get to know everyone. But yeah, so I'll start by sharing a little information about myself. Sorry if I'm talking kind of fast. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm 20 years old. I've lived in Georgia my whole life. I started at Night Owl in July of 2022, and then I have been the broadcast lead since September of 2023. My major is media and entertainment. My minor is language and literary studies, and I'm pursuing a certification in on-set film and TV production. My expected graduation date is December of this year. And after I graduate, I'm looking for a career in the film industry, hopefully in the lighting and camera departments. I love working with cameras. I'll share a little bit about the structure of broadcast leadership. So we have Jeremy Waltz, who is the assistant director of event AV and broadcast services. And then who I report to is Justin White, who is the manager over broadcast services. And we also have Angelica Gilbo, who is the producer over broadcast services. Like I said, I'm the lead. Our team doesn't currently have a lead assistant. That would be something that would be cool to explore in the future. But right now, Justin, Angelica, and I can take care of a lot of the leadership roles. And then we do have 9 part times, which is the biggest the team has ever been. So that's been very exciting. Um, so, what does the broadcast team do? We, in the simplest terms, are responsible for facilitating the live streaming of events. Most often, this is at ksutv.kennesaw.edu. So, if you're ever curious to see a production, you can check out there when we're live streaming. Every event has different needs based on the client's goals and the limitations of the venue, as everyone in event venue management knows. So, Justin and Angelica will work with the client to decide how we can best support their event, and then they communicate this down to me. And then I am responsible for staffing the students to work the event, plus the setup and tear down. A lot of the venues we have require some element of setup, but a lot of venues we have also have some built-in equipment, so that's cool. And then as the event comes up, we execute it sometimes with AV support. So what does a broadcast event look like? They're all different, but there's a lot of elements that are shared across almost every event. The biggest thing is cameras. We have to set up cameras. We have a few different kinds of cameras. We have a switcher. So all of our feeds, like camera feeds or presentation slides, will go into the switcher that takes all these feeds, and then you can press buttons to switch between the different feeds on the program, and that one program is what is sent out to the stream. Then we also use a multi-view, which is a monitor where we can see all the different feeds and decide when to take which shots. We also use laptops. We use a laptop to stream, and then we'll also use laptops if we have to like play music or if there's slides, stuff like that. Um, then we use other equipment like converters. We will also do the occasional audio. A lot of times AV support looks like audio. So if we are doing the audio for both the venue and the stream, then that is when we would have some AV support. But if we are not needing to do the audio for the venue as well, then broadcast will also operate the audio mixing as well. And then we have lots of different kinds of cables. We have data cables, power cables. For the data cables, we have video, audio, all this kinds of stuff. I could make a 1 hour long video about cables on its own, but I will not put you through that. For our venues, by far the majority of our events are concerts at the Bailey Performance Center. We have anywhere between like 1 to 7 of those a week, and it gets very busy at the end of the semester. So uh, we work a lot, but if you feel like you don't see us a lot, that's because a good chunk of the events we work do not have a lot of other Night Owl support beyond broadcast. So a lot of concerts. Of course, our biggest events are commencement and football. If you've seen broadcast, that's probably where you've seen it. You've seen us with our wireless cams on the sidelines of the football field, or you've seen our cameras set up. Um, in the bowl in the arena at commencement. Then we have a bunch of other events that pop up throughout the semester, and we have some venues that pop up more frequently than others, like Onyx Theater, Zuckerman Museum of Art, the University Rooms in the Kennesaw Student Center, KSU Center. We have an excellent, beautiful broadcast studio that we will use that looks very lovely and professional. And then, but we can really do it at any space needed as long as we are communicating with the client about what needs to be done. And we just bring our equipment and we set it all up there. So we can do like classrooms, anywhere on campus, really, within reason. And then the kind of roles that we're filling during events for the students. Of course, we have to set up and tear down all the equipment for events. Our students are camera operators for all our different cameras, our static cameras on a tripod on sticks. We have remote cameras, or we have wireless cameras. So every student on our team is a camera operator. We will also have technical directors and directors. We'll have shading, replay, utility. I can go much more into depth about all of these roles. If you're ever curious, if anyone on your team is ever curious about any of these things, if they have any interest in cameras, please feel free to encourage them to reach out to me, shoot me an email if they see me around, ask me questions. I can go much, much more into depth about all of these things, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. And then outside of events, we also will edit our events. So every single event we stream, we also record. And sometimes clients will ask for recordings of those events. They'll want specific things. If it's like a conference and there's a bunch of different panels, we'll do edits of the whole event and then edits of each individual panel, things like that. So editing can sometimes take up a lot of time, and that is the majority of the work that we are doing during our office hours. What I do as the broadcast lead, my most regular responsibility is, like I mentioned earlier, staffing events, because all of our different students have different skills and different skill levels within those skills. I have to take into consideration the needs of every event. How many camera operators do we need? How experienced do those camera operators need to be? Are we going to have a student technical directing and or directing? Things like that. So I take into account what our students are currently capable of and also what skills they are interested in building, and try to start developing those skills in lower stakes events and then slowly building that up. During events, I do a lot of delegating tasks and teaching. By this point, all of our team, they're total vets. They know exactly what they're doing. I don't need to do a lot more teaching. I mean, you can ask anyone on my team. I will explain things to death if they don't stop me, like I'm trying not to do right now. But yeah, I could talk about all of our equipment forever. But yeah, it's just we will get to an event, and typically we'll get there and everybody kind of knows what we need to do. We can just start setting stuff up, but sometimes it helps to delegate the tasks. Like, okay, you grab the tripod, set up the cameras, I'll get the streaming equipment, stuff like that. And at the beginning of each semester, I make an office hour schedule. We really don't do a lot of office hours because, like I said, our main task is editing, and we don't have too much of that, but when we do, it's a lot. So I'll make a schedule like that, and then I really just fill any roles that are needed of me. If as much as I love operating cameras, I'll do whatever is needed. I'll learn any skill. I enjoy directing. It's a very fun challenge. Even after a year and a half of doing it, I'm still learning a lot. But yeah, it's just about doing what's needed, making sure that everything runs smoothly. And if God forbid anyone ever call out, knock on wood, I'll be the first to jump in and get that filled. But yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I would have loved to come to the lead and lead assistant meetings this semester. Unfortunately, I had a class that was conflicting with it, but I'm really glad for this opportunity to explain to everyone what I do. If you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out, to ask, to say hi. I love talking about what I do, and I've met a lot of the members of the Leads team, but I also know there's some newer members who may have no idea who I am, and I would love to get to know everyone. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope the rest of the Leads meeting is enjoyable and goes well, and thanks.